Welcome to Creativerse, your home of innovation, creation, and inspiration. This is the third design we'll be making in the Creative Practical series, and I believe you've been having fun. Firstly, we decided to start with this and then on to this, and then now we're going to be making this. In this introduction to Adobe Photoshop series, we've made a lot, we've designed a lot, and let's dive straight into this. So as it's our culture, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 folders, I would say, or groups, and we're going to be designing them all from start to finish. So we'll begin with the background layer. All right, so every asset you need for this practical is in a downloadable link in the description below, so please try to check that out so that you have all your assets in one place, and please subscribe if you haven't. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. All right, we're going to create a new document. So go to your file, file new. All right, we're going to be making a square graphics as usual. So 1000 by 1000, 150 pixels. Make sure distance of pixels, very important. RGB, make sure everything is the same. As you can see there, that thing, if you have that, we are good to go. You click create. Okay, so as usual, Ctrl 0 for zoom extent, Ctrl plus 0. All right, so let's move on. So I think since we're done with this, we're going to take this off. We don't need this anymore. Second practicals, we'll take it off too, and then we're going to be having this and this. So we're going to be making the BG of the background group. So let's click that there so that we'll see the options. So let's begin from the last, which is this solid layer. All right, I believe you already have this asset. Yeah, this asset here. Okay, that contains a color code, because as a designer, if there's anything you have to be conscious about, it's your choice of colors, and the only way you can be detailed enough as to what color a designer is using is the color code. It's not enough to just assume that you're using an orange, what tint, what shade, and so on and so forth. So in our background layer, I use, of course, if you look at the Creativerse logo, okay, you know that it's an orange. Our primary color code is blue and orange, but we're going to use orange for the background. So as you can see, we have a background layer there, a solid fill layer there. So I'll come here. Of course, you'll be having this, probably a default background layer. So we'll click this here, move to a solid color, and then we're going to paste this there inside this place here. All right, so Ctrl V, that will give us the exact color, all right, of our background. So we're done with that. So let's move on. The next thing we're going to do is to, let me bring this up a bit. Okay, we have like a gradient fill there. Okay, all right, we have a gradient fill here, right? So it might be tricky for beginners, but let's see. So we'll add something else there. We're going to be having our gradient. Click that there. Okay, so we have this. Let's be sure of the color first. Okay, we're going to change it from linear to radial, and let's make sure we have the exact color. So we're going to be having something like this. We use this in the second practical. All right, so double click this and click there to be sure our color code is correct. I use this color, so just copy this. As I've said before, all of this, they are in the downloadable link in the folder. So please be sure to check that out. So click OK. So that is that for that. We'll click OK, and then your radial, I think that's all. We'll click OK. So we're having this background now. Then move on to the next. So what's next here? We have our picture overlay. Okay, we have this picture overlay here. Some things are going on here, so let's see how we can tackle that. I think the picture we use, I think we use this picture here. So let's bring that in. Okay, let's bring that in. All right, so we're going to be having this here. Hold my shift and alt so that it will, and drag this handle so that it will be in perspective. I'll bring this down, and I think I'm good to go. Okay. All right, that's good enough. So next thing is, first of all, I'm going to bring this down to like 20%. Very important, 20. Then, of course, our blend mode. By now, you should know what your blend mode do. We're going to use vivid light. Okay, vivid light. Okay, probably we should use soft light. I think that should do us a lot of good. Okay, yeah, better. Good enough. Okay. So if you observe this, we are beginning to get this feel. Okay, then let's move on to the next. This shape. All right, this shape layer. So I think there are many ways to go about this, but to be on the safer side, let's use a pen tool, right? Let's use a pen tool. So we click there. Okay, Control 0 for zoom extent. Let's see our pen tool. The shortcut is P, or you could just come here and click there. All right, pen tool. So let's say we just need something to go around like this. So probably I could click there. Before you start, right now we are not drawing a path, we're drawing a shape. Very important. So click shape. We click there. We click here and we drag. I think by this time you must have gone through the practical aspect where I introduced you to the pen tool. Okay, and then let's click there, click here. So you must not be that precise, but let's just so we have this for now. All right, I really love the pen tool. So to be on the safer side, we have a blue we used there. So let's move on to our brand again. Let's pick this blue. Let me add my all right, so let's pick this blue. So we just Ctrl C, we'll come there, we'll double click and paste that there. All right, so many times I feel people try to be precise with their pen tool, and me, I don't think that's important, because when you draw your pen tool, you can still resize it and get it done. So all you need to do is click this, right? Then move to your direct selection to somewhere here. Shortcut is A. All right, A for the direct selection tool, just in case you want to get there. So next thing, you can click this point. Now how does it work? Now I need here to be quite more round, so I'll just drag this anchor point. You get the point, right? Drag this anchor point out. I'll pan a little bit. I'm holding my space bar and left clicking and dragging. I can drag this out. So easy to use. I can drag this in so that it will be more round. I can take this out if I want, drag this over there. Let's see what we're getting now. Okay, I can drag this out also to make sure it goes out. So you must not get your shape precisely as you want earlier. Okay, let's see how this will look now. Let's see, we're not having this. All right, the good thing is, probably if I want to increase the height of this, I can just drag across, the anchor point there, and just drag it up a bit, just to have a good height, and it's just so easy to use. Okay, so we're having this background, so I will manage this for now and probably use my arrow to nudge this down until I'm okay, and I think that is okay. So next thing we'll do, we have this white here, right? So you have two options. You could draw this white again from scratch. I don't want to do that. Okay, what I prefer to do is let's say I could just duplicate this. All right, to be on the safer side, when you're duplicating things like this, I want to place in place, because if I do Ctrl C, Ctrl V, it places it anywhere. So I will do, watch this. This is a layer that's active, right? Ctrl C, Ctrl Shift V. So it's duplicated, it placed in place, or Ctrl J directly. Okay, that's another option. You could just hit your Ctrl J, it just duplicates. It's a shortcut for place in place, right? So what I'll do, first of all, I'll change this to white because we're trying to get this effect here. I'll change this to white, double click there, take it there to white. Then as usual, Ctrl T, very important. I will take my mouse button over there and to get that effect, to be sure I'm okay with what I have. Just that there, it must not be exact, but of course you can draw from start. So let's just rotate a bit. I think I'm okay with that. Enter, hold my space bar to, okay, sorry, a minute. All right, so that is that. Home, zoom in a bit, pan with my space bar. So I think I'm good with what I have. So the question is, how do we clean this right up? So as usual, just move to your direct selection tool, move there, probably highlight there and drag this down. In case you don't know what I did, I just drag. Now the way it says is that, okay, this is an icon point, so I could just drag over that and pull it there. So I just dragged over this and pull this down a bit. So in as much as kind of not aligning well, but the most important thing is when you click out, Ctrl 0 for zoom extent, you're going to be having this. So this is our background. I think it's good enough if you ask me. So obviously we are good to go, right? We are good to go. So let's see, we're having this and we were having this, so it must not be exact. So I think the next thing is to bring in this guy here, okay, so that we know that we're done with our background. The guy is obviously might not be the background, but I just decided to add him in the background layer. So let's move on to bring him in, right? Okay, so I have him here. Okay, look at him here, right? So I'm going to drag this image in like so. Make sure it goes into our layer, so we have this now. All right, so some things are going to happen here. As I said, for starters, we're going to be using the select subject because we want to cut him outside of this, right? So we're going to click here, select subject, and let's see. Okay, let's see what the AI will do. All right, so I think we have a great selection, but not good enough. So many times when you do this, you're going to be having some imperfection like so. Okay, so the question is, how do we clear this off, right? If you observe, some things are imperfect. So now when you come here, we have our, I think, subtract and our intersect, our add. So make sure you're not in new. When you click new, it will deselect everything. So right now I want to add to our selection, right? So click your add to selection and make sure everything is okay the way mine is. We're just going to drag across, let's see, like so. All right, if you observe, okay. All right, I forgot to mention, when you click there, don't be in your object selection mode, be in your quick selection, okay? I think I made a video where I differentiated these three tools, okay? The object selection, quick selection, and magic one. So what we need is a quick selection. Though whichever one you use, either your object, you will still see the select subject there, including the magic wand. But we want to use the quick selection tool, because quick selection tool is very good for selecting foreground, and it's a foreground we are considering here, while the magic wand is used for the background. So make sure in your quick selection mode, and you be in your, okay, you want to add selection, right? I think at first I clicked my object selection, so please take note of that. So we just drag across, so we're adding, all right, take note of that, we're adding. So we just click that, we can just drag across. Of course, we'll clean that up later. We'll drag across, you can see we are adding to a selection. We'll drag across, it might take time, but I might make my, okay, I think that is a perfect selection there. I will zoom in a bit. Okay, that pen, I will drag across. Okay, so I think we have a great selection there. So what next? Let's come into his eyes so that it could be perfect enough. We'll click there, click there, just to make sure we are zooming a bit to be sure what I'm doing. I could still reduce the size of the brush. Use your square bracket for that. Click there. Okay, so I think I'm having a great selection there. So hope you get the idea. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I have a great selection here, not so bad. I think this is the fastest way you can do this for now, except you have other options. So I'll pan, zoom in there, click there, click there. I think that is okay for me. So Ctrl 0 for zoom extent, sorry, Ctrl 0 for zoom extent. So I think there's a selection here that I don't like. Okay, we're going to subtract. Make sure you come back here. We're going to subtract from the selection. We'll click there, then we'll just drag across. Let's see if it will do us good. Kind of okay, but I will still want to add this part. So I think you might have to zoom in here to get something great out of this, and I think we are good to go. All right, so I think you get the idea. So I might not clean up this more than this. I think you get the idea finally. So Ctrl 0. I think we have a perfect selection now, manageable, right, for what we want to do. All right, so with this selection now, there are many options. What I will do next is that I'll duplicate this, Ctrl J for now. Not yet. I would love to go into the select and mask, right? And here we have options as to how you want to view it, maybe in onion skin. I prefer using black and white most of the times. So what this does, make sure you're in this point here. So we want to do some kind of selection so that, especially this side of the hair, it might not always be necessary, but okay, you can see now. I think that place is sampling the hair enough. Get the idea. So how does this work? You click from inside and outside. You can see it's detecting what it feels is the foreground, and from there it's picking outside. So let's say we want to view it here in this or this, probably. I just prefer using that mode anyways. Let's use this. Okay, so we could pan as usual, click from the outside and click there, click from the outside. If you observe now, from the outside and click there, click from the outside and click there, and do the same thing. So if you observe, his hair is well selected now. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but Ctrl Z, I think I'm good with this. Okay, enter. All right, so with this, Ctrl 0 for zoom extent, I think I could manage this probably. And let's click our should I say our layer mask. Okay, this button here. So next thing I will do, I will click him, Ctrl T, right click and flip horizontal. Okay, and let's wait. So let's drag this in place there. Ctrl T again. We might want this to come. Okay, hold your shift and all, drag him down, and let's say we have something like that for now. All right, I think we are heading to somewhere. So I think this is everything we have as a background layer. So we're going to click all from here, hold my shift to this point, Ctrl G, am I correct? Ctrl G. Okay, let me unlock this first. I need to unlock it. Okay, click this. Okay, click, hold my shift, click there, Ctrl G. And let's call this DG, meaning our background layer. So I think we've been able to do this now, as you can see from here. So the next big thing is the design element, which is this, right? So okay, so before we continue, let's save this work. Very important. So file, save as, desktop. Let's move on to our Photoshop tutorial. I'll call this third. So we're okay. Third practical working. So click save. Alright, so let's move on to the next big thing. So what next? So we're having all of this here, circle, 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 circle. So if you observe, it's a mixture of white and brown circles without a fill but with a stroke. You can see some of them here. We reduce the opacity, so it might not be exact, but we're just going to spread this across board. So let's say, to get this straight, we're going to a circle, draw a circle here. Sorry, hold my shift, draw a circle. We are not using any fill, so get that off. Okay, whenever you click this, it's off. We are going to be using a brown circle. So let's see, I think the color code is there. Gradient glow. Okay, brown, I think. Okay, this is the color here. Control C, back. We'll click there. Remember to click this button and you paste that into this box here. So we have that brown color. Then we're going to increase the size of the circle, and we want it to be this, right? So we increase the size of what we want. I think something like that should do. Okay, so we're having this circle, right? I'm going to create, let's say, about 3 different circles. Then I'll duplicate them, then change the color to whatever I want per time. You get the idea? So I'm going to draw something bigger than this. Let's say like so. I think that should work. Okay, perfect. Then I'll draw something else medium, like so. Then drop this a bit. Okay, this is a mistake we make, that you can make majority of the times. I don't want this to be on the same layer. Very important. In Photoshop, whenever you drawing different shapes, if this layer is still active and you draw something else, it's going to be added to the same layer, and we don't want to do that yet. So for that, we're going to deselect, come back, so that whenever we draw, watch, we'll have a different layer there. Okay, I think that's what we want, but just that we'll go through the hurdles rather of editing this again, but it's worth the time. Ctrl V. Okay, but let's just get like 3 of such. Then as usual, we have to click this, then increase the size a bit to what we want. I think I would love that shape. Okay, so I think what I could do is I could just click this and duplicate it, Ctrl T, make it bigger, something like this. So I think this is where we just got to be creative. So we're going to duplicate this, hold my Alt, click, hold my Alt there, drag, make it white. Okay, make it white. I think we have got to be careful here because we are playing with our stroke, right? Let me be in my properties panel. So click there, make it white. We have that there. Come here again, duplicate this. So I'm just trying to be creative. Time to time, click your Ctrl S, click there, make it white. Okay, so I think we're good to go. So let's say we're having one here. Let's just pull this up there. I think we're having one here too. We'll drag this up there. I think we're having one here too. I'm holding my Alt and dragging. You got to be careful. I'm playing around with the opacity. Let's drop this to like 10. Okay, that is okay. Take this up here. I think it's okay like that. Drag this down here. Drop it to like 10 too. So we are just getting creative, just to make sure that it's not so busy. Keep this somewhere here. Let's drop the opacity to like maybe 20 this time, and I think we are good to go with this design. So we call it shapes here. Okay, we call it design elements, whatever you want to call it. So let's just click the first, click the second, Ctrl G, and let's call it design element. I think it's good for you to stay organized. So now we have our background layer, which is this. For example, we have our design elements. So let's move on to the next. So we have a tagline, have an idea, a project, Okay, so that means we're going to create this first. All right, we're going to create this, and then we have an idea of project, have an arrow there, and we are good to go. So let's dive straight into it now. All right, to get this running, we go to our pen tool. Okay, look at our pen tool here. Make sure you're in your pen tool, not freeform pen tool, curvature, add anchor point, delete, or whatever. Make sure you're in your pen tool. The next we're going to do is make sure you're not. Now, first of all, make sure you're in your shapes, not path. First thing, make sure you're in your shapes. Number two, we don't need a fill, so we're going to take this off. All we need is a stroke, so we're going to use white. Make sure. Then we're going to use, let's say, 2 here. Okay, 2, and make sure you are in this side here, not this one here. Then sometimes you may go into options, make sure your dash is 4, your gap is 2. I think we are good to go. Then click OK, and yeah, so let's draw now. So if you observe the shape, it moves like this, and like this. So we just go click something there, we'll click this point, we'll drag, we'll click this point, we'll drag again, and probably we'll click there. So you could tweak anything you want to tweak. You could increase this to 3 if you want, but I think 2 is enough for me. Let's see. I think 2 is enough. I think we're okay with 2. And let's look at it carefully. All right, before we continue, lock your background layer. Okay, lock them so that you will not accidentally move them. So it's locked. So if I click, if I drag over this, I should select. Sorry, if I drag over this, I should select the. Okay, let me show something first. Okay, I think I made a mistake. We're not supposed to draw this inside the background layer. So let's move in. Yeah, look at it there. So we're going to move it out. Let's say it's not supposed to be in that layer. So we're going to move it outside. Yeah. So now we can lock this there. So the idea now is that we cannot select this by mistake. So if we highlight, of course our shape is all right. So I'm just dragging and dropping. Okay, dragging to get that set. So we have this, right? So I can just drag across. Don't forget we're having some shapes here, so be careful. Or probably what we should do is let's lock the layers we're not interested in, so that everything could be well organized. So if I just drag and cross, I'm sure I'm clicking that there. All right, so we're having this. As usual, you can go to your direct selection tool and click there, and you can drag the anchor point to be sure that here, all right, to be sure that you have what you're looking for. You can drag that there. I think I'm good to go. Drag that there. The idea of this is the more you drag the anchor point, the more rounder. Sorry, the rounder. Okay, so we can. I think I'm good to go with this, right? So that is just it. Very simple, nothing difficult. So the next we're going to do is don't forget you deselect to draw the next shape, because if you don't, you'll be having the next shape will be merged into this layer, and that's not what I want. So we're going to just leave this for now. We might tweak this just in case there's need. So we move on to this, right click, move to polygon. Okay, in your polygon, and I'll need 3 sides, of course. Hold my my shift and draw. For this I need fill to be white, and I don't think I need a stroke, so I'll just get that off and maybe bring that in place. Let's be sure first. Okay, make it smaller a bit. I think we're not there yet, but all right, so maybe this might need to be round. So let me tweak this a bit first. Okay, so direct selection to click that there. I can move this down, move this there a bit. So something you can tweak later on if you're not okay. Okay, you can see what I'm doing now, right? I can make it 3 points if I want. So it's not compulsory that the first time you're drawing you get everything right. Is that fine? You could just, all right, when you right click, you have this option. When you go out a bit, you could rotate, hold my shift and alt to drag. Okay, let's bring that in place. I think this is good enough. So we just manage this. Now you get the idea, right? So it's very easy, very easy. All right, so what next? So we're having all this set up, have an idea of projects. So I think we are in our tagline. All right, so we're going to write have an idea or project. So let's see. I think we're going to bring in our character panel because we need this a lot. So the next thing, we're going to click outside again, move to our text tool. So the way I work, I type everything out. Okay, let's make sure that we have our colors being white. Let's check it again. Have an idea or project. Okay, have an idea. Check it out again. Have an idea. Okay, or project. So have an idea. Click there. Hold Alt and drag. I'm not so careful the first time I'm writing things first. I feel they can be edited, so the first thing is to get them up there. All right, so let's see. Let's begin to match up. So we have an idea. It's this brown, so we could just first of all, it's not uppercase, so let's remove that there and correct some things. Have an idea. Of course, the size is small. Let's do something like 17. Okay, or maybe 19 thereabouts. Okay, I think this should be 19. Okay, let's make this 19 instead and make this 15. Okay, these are things that can be tweaked later on. All right, so I think I'm getting closer to what I want. Right, have an idea or project. So we just keep that there, keep this here, make it bigger to like 22, something like that. So if you observe, we are having, this is brown, right? This all project is having should I say drop shadow of the brown. So you now get the idea for the branding. So we could just decide to pick up our brand directly, which is this, Ctrl C, and let's see what we've got. Let's click this here. All right, click there, Ctrl V, just in case, right? If you don't have any of these panels here, just move to your windows, you have all of this here. Okay, have an idea of project. So this is okay, but we need to add a drop shadow, which is going to be the brown. So all we need to do is double click and go to drop shadow, click there, make sure it's a brown. Okay, we are good. Okay, so next thing is the distance. Let me play with the position first. I need the distance to be closer to the object. I need more opacity so that it could pop up quite all right. I think that is okay, and boom, we are good to go. So put that in place, put these two in place. I think we might want to make this a bit bigger. Have an idea project. So let's see ours, have an idea project, whichever way, but I think this is cool. So right now we're having we're done with a tagline. Let's call it tagline. So everything tagline. So let's come back here. We will click there, Ctrl G, and let's call it tag line. So if you look at it carefully, we're making a huge progress. Okay, so what is the next group? We are going to be designing services. All right, services. All right, so let's move on. We have what we do our services. So I think what we will draw first is the shape. So or to get this sorted out, we're going to draw. Let's move this here first. Okay, it's locked. Let me unlock that so that I can move that into place like so. We can still do this later though, but you get the idea. Okay, so design elements, unlock. going to draw something here. I like using my rectangular tool if you want to call it. We'll draw something like so. Let's just put a random fill. We would correct that later. We don't need stroke for now. Correct that later. Okay, we are good to go. So let's see what we are missing. Okay, rounded corners. I think it's quite small. There's a space in here. So let's see if we're missing something. I think this should be smaller. Let's see. I think we went quite big. So click this. All right, click this, Ctrl T. Let's just reduce that a bit. I want this to shift here quite all right. Okay, then this Ctrl T. Let's make it quite small for negative spacing sake. These are rules of design that we have to be conscious of. So for our corners, we just go to our properties. If you can't find the properties, just click Windows. Our property should be somewhere there. All right, that is that there. Properties. So we're going to click something like, should we say 10 or 15? You get the idea. So let's just settle for 20 at the end of the day. Now I don't need to unlink because I want this to affect both everywhere, right? Good. So that is what we're having there. I feel there's something we still need to do. Let's see. The negative spacing is poor, but yeah, but let's just move on anyways. So we have what we do, our services. So before then, so we're having white. So click this. Make sure you select your white there. So you can change it from here. White. Okay, let's bring that to be in place like so. So I think I have the right up there. You should have it too. Okay, what we do our services, so I could just copy that Ctrl C. You might not need to do that, so just click there, Ctrl V, and of course I need to change the color to. So there are different ways to do this, right? So you don't need to be that precise. Ctrl V. Sorry, I drop. Just click this like so. I think I'm having some issues there. Click this like so, and I think that's okay for us. So we're having what we do our services, so we just get this off. Any method that works best for you, it's fine. We'll duplicate this. I think what we do our services. Okay, let's drag this into perspective like this. Let's reduce the size to like I think 9. Let's zoom in a bit. So let's see. I think I use a different font for this. Okay, Anton. Okay, it's still Anton I used. Just that it's looking different. Probably I made some. I think everything's still consistent. Like so. Okay, so we could just take this up there. Or to be on the server side, I'll duplicate and get this off. Alright. So that they could be in different layers, just in case I want to give them different sizes. So what we do, there might be no need for this too, but I just felt that might serve. Sorry, let me repeat that. So I could just click this, Ctrl T, resize both of them and drop them there. Let's see what we've got. Ctrl 0. Okay, so we're having this there. So let's just move them in place. Okay, so let's just move on. Okay, so what we'll do is let's click this, right? I think if you look at this carefully, I use Montserrat. So let's say we're going to change this to Montserrat. Let's try that then. Montserrat, we're going to use Montserrat, maybe black. Yeah, click this too. Montserrat, choose black. Then we're going to make this uppercase, all uppercase. I think that is where we missed it. Okay, yeah, it's looking more like it now. So you see it's coming back to life. And so what next? So we'll have to draw something there, maybe more like We'll zoom in a bit and draw just something very small, and yeah, I think that should work for us. So we don't need the stroke, we need more of a feel. And then we still want to pick this brown, let's see. So that's good enough for us. Okay, all right, so probably we could just move that into perspective and zoom in a bit and correct that, make it smaller like so. All right, so you get the idea. Control 0. So we're getting close, right? So maybe we could get this off for now. Okay, so what next? We need our write-up. So if you observe, this design is getting more like it, like so now. So what next? So next thing we'll do is hope we've not been drawing. I think we are all good. So we bring in our tagline. We'll just copy this UI UX. Just copy this if you want, and yeah, click that there. Okay, and we'll paste, right? We'll paste that there, and that should work for us like so. So yeah, or whichever way, yeah, type, look at the font size I used, and so on and so forth. So let's see. So same thing is happening here, and yeah, so all we need to do is to duplicate, hold my Alt, drag this down, 2, 3, 4, 5, zoom in a bit to have that there. Then we're going to copy them one by one. We'll highlight this, Ctrl C, we'll double click, Ctrl V. Okay, I think it's all in uppercase, fine. We'll copy the next, Ctrl C, we'll double click, we'll click this, we'll double click, Ctrl V, move on to the next, we'll copy this, Ctrl C. Okay, we'll double click, Ctrl V, move on to the next, we highlight all of this, Ctrl C, we double click this, Ctrl V. Yeah, so this is where the magic occurs. When we have all of this, of course it's unevenly spaced, so we'll click this, hold shift, click this, this, so we just move them around to be sure they're all selected. So first thing, we'll align them like this, then we'll click this and distribute. No, not this, actually we need this rather. Good, so it's equally spaced out. I come again. Whenever you have content like this and you want to distribute them equally, first of all I want to align them to the right, not to the left, not the middle. So do that, click this, and this should be your distribution spacing. So click this and you're good to go. So Ctrl 0. All right, Ctrl 0 for zoom extent, and then we are getting closer to what we want. So come over here. Let's see. I think that is what layer we call it, service layer. So by virtue, okay, finally we need a drop shadow there. All right, so we'll click this, double click. Let's see, we're gonna give this a drop shadow. Right, let's go in there too. Of course, it's going to be the brown. Do we need a spread? Let's see. Do we need a spread? I think we should just leave it the way it is. We can manage it like so. Not so much of a spread, more of an opacity for it. Okay, I think that should work for me. So some of these details make your design pop. So we're done. We call the services. So I'm going to put this all in a group. Click there. Come down, hold my shift, click there, Ctrl G, and call it word services. All right, so we are good to go. So I will lock this again. Lock, where's lock? Click this to lock. So I will not mistakenly highlight anything. I think I made some, modifications to this. Of course, you should try to tweak it until you get what you want. So looking at this carefully, we are moving on to this, which is the text heading. So we want to design this right now. Okay, let's dive straight into it. All right, you should be used to how I work. So the way I work is that I prefer just typing everything I need, then design them to fit to what I want. So just go to my type tool there. All right, so we have click OK. We have we are a. I think we are a should be together. We are a. They're all in uppercase. So we are a creative business solution agency. So let's just be fast. Duplicate here, duplicate here, duplicate here, duplicate. I'm holding my Alt and dragging, right? We are a creative. Okay, I think we have business there. Double click, business, double click, solutions, double click. We have agency. All right, so the next thing is aligning this to fit to what we want. First, let's look at this work carefully. So if you look at it, I use the Anton typeface regular font, and so on and so forth. The font size is there, 24.73, so maybe I will assume 25. So I think that should be for my creative. So let's see for creative, and I think our creative is it's in it's not in uppercase. So let's see. So I'm going to click this. I will put in 25 there. Sorry. All right, to make this easier to understand, let's drag this here and we'll begin to feed them in one after the order. Okay, for my creative, I'm going to use something like, let's say 50. Let me be sure what I want. Let's manage this for now. Let's use properties. Okay, let's just use white. I think they're all white. Okay, so I'm done with that. I think the next thing is business, right? Business. So for my business, I will use, let's say 67. The good thing about this is that, and we're going to use white too. The good thing about this is that it has only one font, regular. Don't forget, Anton is a typeface and regular is a font. So let's move this thing up. Let's see if we are getting closer to what we want. Creative. Let's see if we are getting closer. Creative. Creative business. So let's see. So we are supposed to have solutions agency somewhere here, and then this here, and then we are right. So let's move on. So for solutions, let's use something like 19 thereabouts, and let's make it white too. Okay, so that is it. I just want to, it's a creative kind of business flyer. It's a multimedia company, so let's be creative with what we are doing. All right, for agency, let's use something like 28. I don't know if that will fly. I'll convert it to white, like so. All right, I think we're getting closer there. Then finally for we are a, let's use 16. I think we are close enough. 16 and white. So we might still change the font. I don't know if this is okay. I think this white here is distracting. We might play around with it a bit. Okay, something we should check out for we are a is not in uppercase. Okay, it's in uppercase. Or let's say sentence case. Creative is okay. So I think for this we're going to do something like this. Small letter, come there, and then let's see. So to get this off, we're going to click this here. I think it's okay. I think let's use this. Then for this two, we're going to click OK first. For this two, we're going to click this off. Okay, so I think we are getting somewhere close enough. Let's see. We are a creative business solutions agency. Okay, so what else are we missing? Let's see. All right, I think we are good to go. So just put that in place there. So the next thing that will make this design pop is if we add something like before then, let me just okay, we call this test heading, right? Test heading. All right, so let's put this in the layout of its own. Ctrl G. Right, let's first of all lock. Let's call this test heading. Okay, so let's get in. So business, we need drop shadows, right? I think a drop shadow here is the brown, right? So let's go back to this. Let's check for our brown, which is just here. Control C. So we need a drop shadow on each and every one of them. That might be work, but it's what's the details so that it will pop better. Drop shadow, click there, click this. Of course, I think it's already in brown. Okay, Ctrl V, yeah. Then we don't need much of a spread, something like that. We want to reduce the size. We don't need much of a spread. The distance, let me see first. Okay, more of an opacity. I want to show something like so. We could play around with some things, tell the direction. Okay, what else should we do? I think I love this size. Bring the distance in a bit. I think I love that, like so. Okay, let's try something here. All right, the painful part is that I might repeat this for each and every one of them. Double click. Okay, let's see. Drop shadow. Yeah, okay, good. It's saved. Wow, that's good. That's good. So agency, same thing. Double click. Let's see. Wait a minute. Drop shadow. I think this. Okay, I don't like the way the drop shadow is cast, so I might reset a bit. I think I don't like the distance to be quite close. Yes, something like so. And then solutions 2, double click. Let's have a drop shadow there. 2. Okay, that is okay. Then we are a creative 2. Double click. All right, let's have a drop shadow 2. Okay, that there. So that is that. We are a creative business solution agency. I think we'll stick to this for now. Then let's go to our design elements. Let's unlock. I might want to move this down a bit. This here a bit. Maybe drop the opacity so that it won't be so distracting. To 50 thereabout. Yeah. Then probably I might want to reduce the size of this a little. So click Ctrl T. I think that should work for me here. Reduce that a bit. Yeah, so bring that into perspective. Okay, we get the idea. Now my font sizes might not work for you, so you might need to be creative and see what you can pull out. So we move on to the next. So our next thing is, okay, we're a creative business solution agency. Manageable. All right, the next thing is, okay, we might replicate this. The next thing is, sorry, glow effect, right? The glow effect. Okay, so sometimes we're going to take some things to perspective here. So for the glow effect, all we need to do is to create a new layer. So I'll go to my layer, new, layer, new, move straight up, layer there, or hold your Control Shift plus N. So we could call this glow if we want. All right, so the next thing we do is to get a brush size B. I will make the brush so kind of big. or we use our square brackets to increase the size, which I like doing. Increase the size like so. Alright, so next thing, I'm going to apply a glow, but if I click this for now, it might be right, but let's see to be sure of the color code that we have to use. I'll go to my Word. I think there's a color code. This is a color code here, glow. So instead of just clicking like this, so let's undo that. Make sure double click this here because I'm in my brush. Don't forget, so I'll choose a color I want to use. I will Ctrl V, get that there. So now I'll click like so. Then I will come to my normal and find soft light or vivid light, depending on what I feel will work best. I think vivid light did a job. Yeah, I use vivid light actually. So vivid light will give me this. Then Ctrl G. All right, then call this glow. All right, so that was what I did. All right, so we have the glow there. You could decide to maybe move it in place like so, but I think that is good enough. So we might have to log this up, log this up, and then log this up. So that is that. So the next thing is to bring in our numbers. Click there, and what we could do is just type in +234 8, okay, 2348065353480. Yeah, we used orange, sorry, the brown. Of course, that should be this brown here. Ctrl C. So we just go to a move tool, we click that there, and maybe double click there, then Ctrl V. We have that color. We could make it bigger or something. Character panel, let's make it like let's say 8. Oh, like a semi bold. Maybe let's try out other fonts. Bold. Okay, that should work. So the next thing is to bring in our next is to bring in our web icon. Okay, so let's check, and so let's bring in this icon. Let me copy this first. Okay, make sure it's placed here. Okay, it's here already. So let's drag this in. All right, we'll bring this into perspective. We'll hold my Alt and scroll my middle mouse button for zoom. Hold my space bar with my left mouse button to pan. Hold my Shift and Alt and drag inside like so. Bring this here. Depends on what I want, but okay. Go to my text tool. Of course, that is the icon I want to use for my website, creativeverse.online. Click there, drop this to about, let's say 8. I mean, this is all in uppercase. I'll click this to toggle that off, and I think I'll use black for this. Sorry, excuse me, for consistency's sake. I don't know if we're going to be using bold. I think I would love to use something like semi-bold or regular. Let's use this. Yeah, I think this should work for me. I'll bring this into perspective. I don't know if this is what I did in the main design, but just for you to get the idea. Okay, Ctrl 0, and we have this. It's manageable, but let's move on to this now. Okay, the next thing is with contacts. Sorry, give me a second. Alright, so this is contact, right? So it's called contact test. Okay, so I will just group that, click, and Ctrl G, call it contact test. So that is done. So I might want to reduce this a bit to like, let's say 14, like so, because something else is coming here. So next button is the button layer. So we're going to design this from scratch. So let's see what we can do. So the first thing is to draw, to get the shape right, which is outside there. So we'll draw something like a box kind of shape. All right. Then for this box, we don't need a stroke. We need rather a fill. I think this color is what we are looking for. And I think we have to size it up a bit. I don't know, I'm just thinking. Then we'll give it like 30. Okay, 26.5 is the highest. So Ctrl 0, we need to follow some rules of design like negative spacing. So let's look at this design. Maybe we have to take this up a bit. Let's look at the space we have. Okay, and this. Probably we just okay. Let's just design everything first in perspective and see what the options are available. Alright, we have contact us on this. So let's say we get a test to let me duplicate this up here. No, instead let's just write something else. T. Let's have contact us. Let's double click that. Contact us. It's going to be white. Click there. White. Before we do white, let's move it. Undo. Sorry. Undo. I think I've made some mistakes here. All right, so contact us. So let's bring this in here. Let's make it white. Okay, let's go to our properties. I think that should be there. If it's not showing, click your test. I think we have that there. Make it white for now. We also draw a circle. Don't worry, we're going to arrange everything together. So draw a circle so that we know what we are doing. Hold my shift and alt. Hold my something like that. I'll need it to be white instead. White, no stroke. So let's bring this into perspective and see what we've got. Okay, so something like so. So we might just have to, yeah, I think that should fly for me. And let's bring in contact us. Let's increase the size to like let's say something like 10. So if you look at this carefully, I think this button is too small, so it's too big rather. So click this, Ctrl T. Let me tell you, I clicked the circle and this shape. I didn't click the contactor, so I want to reduce the size. Okay, let me do that again. Click this, hold my shift down, click Ctrl T. Let's see. Okay, I think I like what I'm getting now. I click here like so. Ctrl T again, and I drag. Okay, so right now I'm going to click just this shape, right, which is this guy here. All right, so Ctrl T. Let's drag this in like so. We might still want to click Ctrl T again. Let's resize. So of course we're getting closer to what we want, like so. Click, and let's click outside. So this is what we're having. So click this, Ctrl G. Let's call it button. All right, so I think something we need is this asset, right? I think more like an arrow, but I think I used an asset there, but let's see. There's a way we can mimic this. So come to your come here, click your line tool, and you could choose your arrowhead weight here. Let's leave it at 2. then click the settings. Let's leave this at 3 pixels. So I want my arrowhead to be at the end, right? Then we have our width, our length, percentage, our concavity. So I don't want it to be at the start, right? So let's see. So we just zoom in. We just try to mimic something here. Have we drawn anything? All right. So I don't think we need this anymore. Okay, we need that there. So I'll just draw something of such. Right. So I don't need. I need it to be this color. Sorry, I think I'm making a mistake somewhere there. Okay, so when you're having an issue that whenever you draw something, it's merged into the same layer, because when I drew just now, it was merged into this circle layer. So all you just need to do to avoid that is to create your layer yourself. Control Shift N, right? Create a new layer and you can name it arrow. Probably that should do. So we can then draw directly in this layer. Hold a Shift Alt, or just hold your Shift, draw something simple there. Of course, we want a fill. Okay, we don't want a stroke, so I think that should do. Then maybe we could just click that there and move into perspective. Control T, zoom in. I think we've made a mistake. Control T, we hold my Shift and Alt and drag. Some of these details are very much needed, and probably we could, let's see, so probably we could just use that for now. So Control 0. All right, so we're having something like this, and let's say contact us. Control 02. Okay, it's at the edge there, so let's just do some arrangement, and let's call this, okay, it's us already in the button. So let's say we would click this, that's everything in the button layer, and move it to the side like so. And probably we could do some, okay, so we're getting closer. Then maybe we could just let's lock the button layer, lock this. Then my design element, I could just click this, duplicate it here, drop it there, drop the opacity to like 10, just to give it some visual sorry, I'll hold my Alt, drag this in. Sorry, I could still drag this in here. Control T, make it smaller, and bring that there. But probably here I will use, let's say, something like 20 minutes. Okay, so that's okay. Yeah, I think let's take it down to 5. Okay, something like that. Okay, so we're good to go. So let's see what we have gotten thus far. Yeah, so we have our button and all. Let's lock. So what's the next thing? I think we're almost there. Okay, the follows, buttons, at Creativeverse, logo. Am I correct? The logo. Okay, there's no logo here. We're supposed to bring in a logo, I guess. Is it empty? Okay. Alright, let's just move on. Okay, alright, so let me get it this. Yeah. So let's go on with followers. So we have Facebook, Instagram. So that is not an issue at all. Control S, make sure you save time to time. Alright, so we're going to bring in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and probably YouTube. We drag them in, put them there. Yes. Coincidentally, it is okay. It's black. Control T. We will have to resize. I think to be on the safer side, let's bring them in again, because yeah. So let's just click outside, so that, because if any layer is selected and bring in any object in, it will go above that layer, and if it's a group that is selected, it will go inside the group. So let's repeat that. So we'll bring it in again, drop. Oh, it's still selected. All right, so to be on the safer side, let me repeat that again. So let's just select outside, nothing selected now, so let's drag it in again. All right, so you can see it's over there. All Alright, so that is that for that. So let's move this up there. We'll make it so small, very small. Okay, we'll move this there too. Make it so small. Most of the times this should fly. Let's see how big. Okay, something like that. Okay, Ctrl T, make it small. Bring that there. Okay. Move this there. Ctrl T2. Make it so small. Then okay. Sorry. And move this up to Ctrl T. Sorry, move it up to Ctrl T. Make it so small. And then let's zoom in to be precise. Let's keep it somewhere there. I would love it to be so tiny. I don't know, it depends on what you want. Okay, we move this there. I think I'm okay with the size. I'm okay with this size. So what I'll click, hold shift, click this, align them vertically and distribute like so, or probably undo, align them vertically and distribute like so. Okay, I think I'm good with that. I think this is partly too big. I'll just correct that a bit and we are good to go. So let's see this in context. I think it should be smaller than that, way smaller. So click, hold shift, click this, Ctrl T, make it so small. The idea is that when people see this, they know the icons already, so we don't need to tell any much of a story there. We could make it make them closer. Okay, so we could click this, bring it closer, click this, bring it closer, click this, bring it closer. All right, okay, I think that is good enough. So we go to our test tool here. All right, so we're going to type art, let's double click, Ctrl A, art, creativeverse. Are we okay with that size? 8. Okay, I think that is good enough. Move it into perspective, right, and Ctrl 0 for zoom extent. Okay, I think somehow let's check. Yeah, so of course there is that. So okay, so we are done with follow us, if I'm correct. So let's, all right, so we have that there. Just click all of this and name it follow us. So we'll log this to, so the final thing before we can call it, before we can say we are done, is to design. Okay, bring a logo, creativeverse on the traditional imaginations. All right, so what we'll do is to, let's bring in the creativeverse logo. I think all right, so we have a logo somewhere here. Let's click icons, let's bring this in. All right, let's bring it in. All right, so you can use any logo of your choice, but let's do something here. Of course, this is a PNG of the logo. We would place that there. Sorry, enter. We have to zoom in a bit. Pan. We're going to do some things here actually. Let's draw a circle. So I will just right click, get the circle there, hold my shift, drag that in perspective. I would love it to be white, and I don't want stroke, so bring it there. We'll have to rearrange, bring it below there. Okay, draw the circle again. I would make this bigger a bit, probably smaller. Okay, so click the both layers and vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, Ctrl T, and make it smaller like so. Let's see, Ctrl 0. I think that should work for us for now. So next thing is writing this here, creative verse unleash your digital imagination. So just take my text tool, type, double click, yes, creative verse. I think I would love that to be bigger, kind of. Let's do something like 10, probably 12. No, I think 10, 11 should do. Okay, let's do 10. Okay, so we're going to drag that there here. So I'll duplicate this down. We have unleash your digital imagination. So all right, for hierarchy's sake, this is going to be very small, way small, or smaller per se, because this is not really. Let's see what we have here actually. Okay, it's not a big detail. So we just keep that there. Maybe smaller, I guess 6. Yeah, something like that. Then if you observe, we had, okay, that's cool enough. There's some things I want to add up here. For this to breathe better, let's probably draw a straight line there. All right, so we're going to click this, and just to be sure, remember we did some settings here. So we'll click. Remember we used arrowhead, so turn it off. Then okay, that is that. Make sure it's 2 parts here. So we zoom in like so and hold that shift and draw across like this. Okay, I think that gave me what I would love to use. I think I'm okay with that. So I might just shift this a bit here. That will work. Control 0. All right, so finally I think we are almost good with this. Let's call this okay, logo, right? Okay, so we're going to click there, Ctrl G, and call it logo. All right, so I think we're almost done, or we are done, so to say. If there's anything we might add to this, could probably, I guess there's something I did here, some detailing I made here. All right, just drew a straight line, and so that is not something difficult. So let's just take a line tool again, zoom in a bit, hold a shift, draw a straight line there. I think that was white. Okay. Okay, let's get that sorted. I would love it to be this line. Right? Good. Let's see what we have here. Alright, don't worry, there's a way we're going to get that sorted out. So next thing I will do is to reduce opacity, probably to like so. Then I'll apply the layer mask probably, and paint in the layer mask with my brush. All right, B for my brush. Then reduce that and paint the, okay, just something like so. Then probably I could still drop this a little bit, just, okay, yeah, something like that should do. Ctrl 0. So now you get the idea, right? Okay, this was quite higher. I will not modify this anymore, but hope you get the idea. Could just use my arrow key and take it up there. So let's draw something else here. Again, click here, hold my shift, drag something straight. I think I'm having an issue here. They're both in one same layer. I don't want that, so I'm going to create a new layer for the second line. So I'll just Ctrl Shift N, or go to layer, go to new layer, go to do that there. So I'm going to draw it. So come here, shift, drag. Okay, we want this to be a different color. First, let's click this, want it to be brown, right? So we would click that there, and I drop this color here if that will work. Okay, so that should work. Let's do that again. Double click. I would love this color, except we're doing something wrong. Okay. All right, so let's correct this. Let's move there. Okay, our stroke is, so let's say we have no stroke. We don't want no stroke. Okay, so we have this now. All right, so let's say opacity low and then some cleanups there. So we just drop the opacity to maybe like, okay, drop it a bit, right? So draw, layer mask, paint with my black brush. So B for my brush tool, I'll go there and maybe paint this upper side there, and just to give the design more life. So finally, let's export. Okay, I think that is that. Let's just move this into the logo layer. So okay, we have all of this there now. All right, our design is good to go. So what else should we do? Okay, one thing I love doing is that I like let's say when I'm done with a design, when you hold your Control Shift, I think Alt E, it takes a screenshot of what you have on your screen, right? So it means if I turn off all of this now, I have my final output there. So the question is, what should I do with this? It depends on you. I could decide to maybe go to my filter, camera raw filter, and do a final balancing of what I have on the screen there. Okay, so I could, it depends, I could push the vibrance a bit, right, so that the colors could pop. I could maybe touch sharpen it a bit if that's what I want. I could give it more details, noise reduction, all right, do some basic stuff, go down a bit. Okay, still push, click my enter. All right, okay, so this is what I have finally. So I go to my file. Of course, you could use your save as if you want. Let's see. So let's say, okay, Photoshop tutorial, let's say export 3. Let's call this, so let's save. Let's leave it at this. All right, and let's see what we've got there. Okay, this is our final work. Okay, this is what we've designed thus far. All right, so another thing we could do, we could export by going to File, Export as there. All right, though I would prefer this method, all right, because this method you can increase your size, scale it up to 2 times, which means more quality but more file size. We could, okay, just like here we have just 4 formats. You can scale it down if you want. You can use your percentage here to scale it down, but for now we would work with 100%. You could do a lot of things and then export. Then we could call this export 3 still, but let's just say export 3 and add an S, save, so that we could compare. So we click this, we are there now. Let's see. All right, okay, so yeah, export 3. So let's see how it looks. All right, so I think that is that. So during this course we've been able to design 3 flyers. So we designed this together, we went on to design this, and we went on to design this, and I tried my best to break down every concept that you need. And I feel with this experience, if you followed me step by step, you should have everything you need to begin your career as a creative, as a graphic designer. So you could also check our YouTube channel. We already have a course in Adobe Illustrator. I think after Photoshop, your next plan should be learning Adobe Illustrator. We also have one on InDesign. So if you take my advice, after this, move on to Illustrator and move on to InDesign. And with these 3 softwares, you should become a great and successful creative. So happy designing, happy branding. Follow us on all social media handles at Creative Res. All right, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. That would really encourage us a lot. Okay, so thank you, and keep designing. Keep up the good work, and I believe this is just the beginning. All right, see you later.